Alright, what's up guys? Today's video is probably going to be split into two parts. It is going to be about why you should and why I think you should not get a bike. A few quick disclaimers. Obviously I do ride a bike, so maybe I am a little bit biased as to why you should ride a bike. Second, I do ride a sport bike, so if it seems like I am talking more to the sport bike community other than cruisers, that is why. So I think the first and most obvious reason why you should ride a bike is because they're cool, alright? I don't know how many times I have ridden my bike past a school kid and they've, you know, told me to either toot my horn or rev my engine or do a wheelie or something, you know? It's just, bikes are more aesthetically pleasing than cars. Now the second reason is they're more exciting. Now I have never driven a really fast car, you know. The fastest car I have driven was my dad's old Infiniti G37, and that's just a luxury car, you know. It's not a Mustang, it's not a Dodge, it's not a Corvette, it's nothing like that. So I can't necessarily say that a bike is more exciting than a car. Guys, sometimes my exhaust pipe smells like corn. I can smell it right now and it smells like I'm cooking corn. Now, like I said, I have never driven a fast car, so I can't really say that a bike is more exciting than a car. But I do know that that feels good as fuck. There is no other way to describe that than exciting, you know. That is exhilarating. The amount of adrenaline that pumps through your body every time you rip the throttle on a sport bike is intense. There is no other way of describing it other than intense. I never feel more alive than when I'm on my bike. Now, apart from bikes being cool and being exhilarating, riding a bike also improves both mental and physical health. And this has been scientifically proven. It increases your mental health being outside in the open, you know, going outside, taking a walk every now and then is better for your health. And it's the same with riding a bike. Now, I don't know about any of you, but I struggle with depression, alright? My younger brother has it, my older brother has it. I'm pretty sure it's genetic, but most days I find it hard to get out of bed. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because when I am on my bike or whenever I'm having a bad day, all I have to do is get out and ride. Riding increases my mood, you know. It makes me a lot happier. It releases endorphins. It's the same as working out, you know. If you go to the gym or if you go on a run, it's going to release endorphins that make you happier. So riding really helps with that, you know. That's why I say it's better for your mental health. Now, with that being said, it also improves your physical health. But improving your mental health puts you in a better mood. It gives you a better attitude towards things. Therefore, you're more inclined to get up and do things. Therefore, increases your physical health. Now, I know for me, sometimes I'll get out on here and I'll, you know, ride around and stuff. When I get home, sometimes I'm sore, you know. My bike is old, so it is heavier than the newer bikes. Now, that's not me saying that it's too heavy. It's just sometimes being on the bike is physically taxing. I know I've said this before, but it still helps, you know. It increases your physical health. Now, another reason is, I'm sure you've noticed this, but when you're riding and you see a fellow rider, you know, you pop the two-finger wave to them. It's camaraderie, you know. So the community for bikers is a lot nicer. Yes, there are more car drivers, but how many times do you see car drivers waving to each other because they also ride or drive a car? So it's just the simple fact that you ride, they ride, you have more in common with each other. You're both riders, you know. That puts you in a certain brotherhood or a sisterhood. So the community for riders is a lot nicer than it is for car drivers. Now, I'm not saying that people who drive cars are dicks, you know? People who drive cars are still nice, but it's not as noticeable as if you ride a bike. Anytime I go anywhere on my bike, if somebody sees that I have my helmet, they always ask about it. Or if they also ride, they always stop to tell me stories about it, you know? I have no idea how many stories I have heard about other people riding motorcycles, you know? So, the community is definitely a lot more, if not nicer, more involved, you know? You can get out there and you can... Now, another more obvious reason for getting a bike is that it is a hell of a lot cheaper than a car, right? So, in my review video, I think I said that I picked this bike up for $1,300. Yeah, it didn't work, but it only took about $700 more for me to fix it. That's a good running bike for $2,000. So, you know, it's not expensive at all. A brand new Honda Civic is $25,000. Why would you pay $25,000 for a car that'll go 0 to 60 in like 6-7 seconds when you could pay $6,000 for a bike that'll go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds? So, I mean, yeah, not everybody needs speed, not everybody wants speed, but it's definitely a bonus, you know? Man, guys, I tell you, being outside like this, and I know I already said this before, but it is amazing, you know? Today the weather is, I think, 69 degrees. It's a little windy, cloudy, no sun out, so it's a little bit chilly, but it still feels amazing, you know? I would much rather be doing this than sitting inside of a car. If I want to sit inside of a car, I'll just go home and sit on my couch and play video games, you know? If I'm gonna go out somewhere, I would much rather be having fun doing it. I would rather be out in the elements, having the time of my life. Now, another reason why it is cheaper is insurance. I pay $54 a month for my insurance. I don't have theft insurance. I don't have uninsured motorist insurance. I just have the basic coverage. You know, if I get in a wreck, I'm covered. Now, that might be because my bike is an older bike. It's not worth as much, so the insurance is less, but it's still cheap as hell. So a lot of the times you will get cheaper insurance for a bike than you would a car. And you would expect it to be more expensive because it's more dangerous, right? You're more likely to get in an accident that's worse than if you get in an accident with a car. You know, if I hit this sign right here, my entire bike's probably gonna get totaled. Now, if I hit it in a car, I'll probably get a little fender bender. But a lot of the time you will find cheaper insurance riding a bike than you would, fuck is all this, than you would a car. Now guys, this one's a little related to the other topics or the other reasons, but commuting is better on a motorcycle, you know? Say you live in Europe, right? Lane splitting in Europe is legal. Lane splitting all over the world, for that fact, is legal, except for the United States. I believe California is still the only state in America that allows lane splitting. So if you live somewhere where lane splitting is legal and you ride a motorcycle, getting to work in the morning is gonna be a lot less stressful. You can just go in between all the cars. You don't have to sit there. You'll get there on time. You don't have to stress about, oh my god, what are these cars doing, blah blah blah. You don't have to stress about, you know, getting to work late, all of that. Now, even if you live somewhere where lane splitting is illegal, maybe you still do lane split. Sometimes my bike for a good while had no coolant in it. I didn't know it had a leak, so whenever I would sit in traffic, the bike would start overheating, you know, the dash would start blinking, it would get really hot, it would start spraying out steam out of the side, and it would burn my hands. So I would lane split, you know, the only way to cool it down would be with the air, since it has no liquid left in it. So that time, in the morning on the way to work, I would sometimes lane split, you know, I'd get the bike moving, get it cooled down. As soon as it cooled down a little bit, I would stop and I would sit in traffic. Now, yeah, it might be illegal, and yeah, sometimes it's dangerous, especially if people aren't expecting it, but sometimes you have to, you know. Admittedly, sometimes even when I don't have to lane split, I still will lane split. Sometimes I just don't like sitting in traffic for the simple fact that the longer that you sit in traffic, the longer or the higher chance of you getting in an accident with somebody and not paying attention increases. Now, people sitting in traffic are more likely to text on their phone, right? I don't know how many times I've seen people texting on their phone while sitting in traffic, which is absolutely stupid. It's stop and go traffic where you're bumper to bumper with people. You can't afford to take your attention off of anything. So yeah, sometimes lane splitting is safer in those situations. So commuting on a bike is better, and like I said, bikes are exhilarating, they're more fun. So commuting, therefore, is also more exhilarating and more fun. Now, I think this is the last reason that I can think of. If you have any more reasons, comment down below. This video is for people that want to start riding, they want to learn more about why they should ride a bike. So please comment below, tell them why they should get a bike. Now that reason is because it will make you a better driver, you know. Provided that you take the MSF course, which I hope you would do, because any rider, whether you know how to ride or don't know how to ride, should take an MSF course. The hell kind of bike was that? But I have noticed anytime I get in a car now, I'm a lot better at driving than I was before I started riding, you know. When you ride, you see a lot more, you know. You notice every little thing that can kill you. Anytime a car shifts, I can adjust to shift to make sure that car is not going to hit me, you know. If I'm coming down here right now and there's cars in that lane, I position myself over so I'm further away from those cars, you know. Now, sometimes it is better to position yourself here. Since there's a big truck in front of me, if one of these cars wanted to turn into this driveway, they might not see me behind this truck and they might just go. So sometimes you have to think about where you want to position yourself in the lane to make it safer for you. Now, that being said, when you're in a car, you start to notice more things like that. You start to notice, you know, what people are doing more. You start thinking, you know, what can you do better? So when I'm riding, I want certain cars to act certain ways, you know. I want them to act in a way that's going to be safe for me. So whenever I'm driving, that's how I drive. I drive in a way that is safer for them, right? Or not safer for them, but safer for if I was on my bike. So it does make you a better driver, and the MSF course obviously helps, you know. It's basically a defensive driving class. It will teach you a lot more about driving. So that's all I can think of for why it is better for you to ride, or why you should ride a bike. Obviously there's reasons like it's better for the environment, you know. You don't put as much wear on the ground, so you don't have to have the roads change as much or whatever. Fuel efficiency, all of that. But I want this to be reasons why you should get a bike for you, not why you should do it for the environment. But yeah guys, tomorrow's video will be why I think you should not get a bike. Now obviously I think everybody should get a bike, but I'm still going to try my hardest to list reasons why I think a bike is, you know, non-beneficial to you. What reasons for you not getting a bike, you know. That's probably reasons that your parents would probably tell you. But yeah guys, that's it for this one. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace.